Boop. Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, June the 23rd, 2022. And today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 77, 1 through 2, and 11 through 20, 1 Kings 22, 29 through 40, and 51 through 53, 2 Corinthians 13, 5 through 10, or you could have read Psalm 16, Leviticus 9, 22 through 10, 11, and then 2 Corinthians again. I'm going to take a look at the text from 2 Corinthians and talk about self-examination. It's something that we should all do from time to time. Um, and I'm not talking about the kind of self-tests like you find in like magazines and online and Facebook and all that stuff. People love to do those kind of self-exams. Church people especially, we seem to love to take tests that promise to tell us what our unique spiritual gifts are going to be, even though there's one spirit and just there are many gifts, but only so many to go around. Um, or we like get really caught up in tests that's supposed to tell us what our unique servant personality is, and then we like to like address our each other by that. Oh, you're. I digress. That's those are not the kind of self tests that Paul is encouraging us to take here. Paul is rather bluntly asking if we can pass a test that shows that we are living in the faith. And I don't think that Paul puts a lot of faith in our ability to pass said test. Um, I'm pretty sure he's not too faithless. Granted, he's speaking directly to the Corinthians, but you and I, I'm pretty sure he'd lump us in there. He says to them, "Don't you realize that Christ is in you?" He says it, do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you? But yeah, he goes, that's kind of the key for passing this test. Can you look at yourself? Can you look at yourself deeply and see that Christ is indeed in you? Um, John Wesley talks about giving himself this kind of test uh, in a journal entry from October 14th, 1738. And he's looking for what Paul also calls the newness of Christ in himself. So he looks at this list of things, and it's probably a good thing for us to think about too, comparing ourselves to the person we are now to the person we were apart from Christ, or the person we are apart from Christ. And so he says he was looking for new judgment in himself based on the mind of Christ, judgment about himself, about his nature apart from Christ, versus who he can be and should be in Christ. And does he have the mind of Christ? Um, Judgments about what it means to be happy. Because if you have the mind of Christ, the heart of Christ, and what makes you happy is going to be different than what generally you would have assumed happiness was or looked like. Um, in all the ways that that can be manifested apart from Christ. Once Wesley says, like the person I am in Christ doesn't see happiness the same way as I did apart from Christ. Even judgments about what it means to be holy. What Wesley thought counted as holiness before really coming to know Christ, as opposed to what holiness meant for him after coming to Christ, was a whole different thing. He looks for new designs in himself. In other words, are the plans he's making for himself and for the future, are they based on the will of Christ? Are they based on this relationship with Christ? Is Christ in that? New desires are the desires of his heart, are they inclined toward the good of Christ? Does he desire the good that is Christ, the good that is God? Do the goods he desire, are they in harmony with Christ? New conversations is are the does he have a new kind of conversation? Like, is he still talking about the same old stupid stuff and in the same old stupid ways as before he met Christ, or does even the way he talk reflect more the heart of Christ? And then new actions following the way of Christ. Does he behave as a person who is converted, by Christ, who has Christ dwelling in them? Paul, do you not know that you have Christ in you? If you can't answer that, You may not be able to pass the self exam pretty well, and that's the whole point of self examination, so we can do better. Anyway, that's the DBR. Get out and enjoy the day, and we'll talk to you later. Boop.